glad to be here. Thank you for being here to watching me. I will talk you about Teamfindery that empowers team to achieve more. It's a solution for managing teams. The problem is that everybody has a team. Almost everybody, almost every manager has a team. But the thing is that managers in general are managers because they are good at something. And they end up sometimes with managing teams that they don't know how to do it. And that's the main reason for teams never meet objectives. And we have the solution. The solution is teamfindery.com. I come to this solution because I have 30 years experience in entrepreneurship, 20 years in consultancy with more than 500 clients and more than 10,000 trainees and coaches. And not at last, 40 years of performance in sport. Our solution is an online application that you can see here, the homepage where you enter and log in and or register. It has two main pages. One is the page of group management where you can put your teams here, your population, either by editing person by person, either importing from a CSV. The bottom of the same page shows you that you can select the people and send them an invitation, which brings them to their email a link to an online test with 40 questions. Each of the team members is completing this test, answering the 40 questions. All of them have 5 possible answers. They have to choose one. The questions are very simple, are from the day-by-day life, so in any industry, they can fill in the test. Then you go to the main page of the application, the dashboard, when you have the same groups. Now they have the test filled in, and by clicking these boxes, you put the people in the red box where you form the team, either an existing one, either an hypothetical one. If you want to form a team, you put the people here, you name the team, and you push the red button. When you do that, you receive a report on how this team is functioning on 5 criteria. You get the percentage of each of those criteria, which means how much the team is working in that type of criteria. And then you have an explanation in the same report. This is an example for one of the criteria, the compliance and integrity management. So this is the red quadrant, but for each one of them, you have the same design and the same explanation, where you can see in a quality way if the behavior is positive or negative. With this type of information, any manager can make decision for team management, team development, forming teams, team building, recruiting, project management, or even general management. We are targeting as this being a global solution. We want to make it global, and we are targeting 1% of the working population, which is 35 million people out of 3.5 billion. These are data from the World Bank from September 2019. And to work with this application, you have to pay $3 for each person, which brings us to a turnover of $105 million in the hypothesis that each person is used one time in the application, which is not a correct hypothesis, because when you have a person, you would want to...
Radu, I'm sorry to cut you off. 5 minutes are gone. Definitely the time flies also in the online environment. The rest of the 5 minutes, I'm sure that we'll be spending with questions and with your answers. But now let's move on to the questions from the jury members. Who wants to kick first with a question for Radu and Teamfindery? Please go ahead. So we have one from Liz. Liz, please shoot out your question.
I have a feeling that the market that you're depicting, or the opportunity that you're depicting, is too low compared to the reality. Actually, I think you were going to continue on that thought.
What do you mean by too low?
I mean, I don't think it's just a 100 million turnover opportunity. I think it's larger.
Well, for an investor, I have to offer the pessimistic opportunity.
Thanks for the scenario. Let's move on to another impression, advice, or question from the jury members. Who wants to go next? Please shoot your question.
What do you base the personal profile of each employee on?
Well, it's basically a psychological test.
Okay. Who applies these tests? Do the employees do them by themselves? Are they licensed tests? Is it MBTI? Can you give us more information?
Well, at the origin is a Herser-Blanchard method, if you are aware about it, but it's modified and it's improved.
And do you have any validation or traction so far?
Yes, both of them. I have 20 clients they paid to use the application, with a total population of 1,200 people.
And what are the outcomes of that? What feedback did you get from these customers?
Brilliant, being modest.
Thank you.
I'm curious. I'm curious how you measure the success of the product. What KPIs can it improve for the teams or anything like this?
The basic activity that I have is consultancy, and the biggest problem that I have in consultancy is that clients ask me to help them in some improvements for their teams. And I ask them, why do you need this specific improvement? And the answer here is, well, we think that, but nothing professional, nothing real exactly. With this application, we can pinpoint the exact problem that they have. And this is the most important added value that this application brings.
We can end on that note, but we still have time for one more question or impression from the jury members. So I please ask each and every one of them to raise it now.
I have another question.
Please.
What is your go-to-market strategy? Where do you want to start? Where do you want to be in 2 or 3 years?
That's entirely depending on the funding that I can raise. But as I told you, it's thought to be a global solution, and actually, you saw the figures, which is 1% of the working global population.